Here this morning with Ειρήνη Στούρτζα, who has begun the initiative Angels of Joy.
The Angels are a team of professional artists, psychologists, music therapists, and educators who offer social and psychological support to vulnerable social groups, such as children hospitalized or living in institutions, the elderly, and people with disabilities. Well, I started volunteering at Make-A-Wish Switzerland in 2007, so about 14 years ago, because I felt I was always very lucky in my life. I have 3 grown children, 2 grandchildren. I've only had one serious health problem, and I just, thought I had something to give back to society. And so I wanted to always had this will to help others in some way, but it was always, something I thought, oh gosh, I have to go to Africa or something exotic. And I couldn't leave, you can't just leave 3 children behind and so on. So one day I heard the CEO of Make-A-Wish Switzerland on an interview on the radio. I was driving in the car and I decided to go see her. And that's how I became a volunteer there, and I'm still there. As I did that, I realized the living conditions and the trauma these children go through. The children are living with life-threatening diseases. The children that Make-A-Wish attends to. And so I went and I was a wish granter, so I had to go capture the wish. And I would go either to their homes, if they were home, or into the hospitals. And that's how I became aware of that part of society, all these families that had ill children. And it was very, it was a real eye-opener. And when I was going to the hospitals to see them, if they were hospitalized or under treatment, I saw a group of clowns doing clown therapy. And I thought, oh, I wonder if that exists in Greece. And basically, that's how it started. It started with an author and playwright and an actress. There was 3 of us, and we started writing plays for children in the hospitals and acting them. They were acting them. And so I would say we've grown from a ad hoc sort of artist group to a professional non-profit organization over the past 10 years. Well, I would say the first obstacle was trying to get Greek artists, or I think it would have been the same in any country maybe, but trying to get them to become professional in another way than in the arts. So, for instance, writing reports at the end of each month. What have we done? What's the next step? Trying to be structured. And then that was a bit of a challenge, but we got there. There was some resistance, but we got there. And then we hired a business coach. In the outside world, dealing with Greek hospitals and staff was quite difficult at the beginning. One of the members of the team had a few contacts in the children's public hospitals. There's only 2 big children's hospitals in Athens. And so we started from that person, and slowly we had to gain trust, recognition, and it takes time. I would say it took about 8 years but what we were lucky in was that we set up our program so that we could go weekly, and we were regular. We were there every week at the same time with the same t-shirts, and I think, in the end, they realized we were going to be there for a long time. So,
and they must have seen the reactions of the children.
Exactly. Then the children started asking for us. And now even the staff is asking for us.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. So that was another challenge. And it was a very serious one because we try to do everything with written authorizations. We don't go, it's a very delicate world to be in hospitals. In Greece, there's a particularity in the sense that it's not only the ill children that are hospitalized that are there. There are also children that are there under court order because they've been taken away from their parents, from their families, dysfunctional families or drugs or whatever. And so these children are not ill, but they're just there and no one is dealing with them. So they run around the hospital. There's basically no structure for them. So we're the only constant every week. So we have a special program for them. We go to the children in the hospitals, we go to the elderly in the old people's homes, and we go now to the people with disability. So they're very different social groups. They all have the same characteristic that they are vulnerable groups. And more than that, they are forgotten from society, less the children in the hospitals because they usually have parents and families and so on. But the elderly, some units are not, I mean, what we would call in the US or in Europe, sort of functional, and they are properly kept. But a lot of them, we try to focus on the public ones because they're always the ones that have less of everything, whether it's, medical items or care or activities. They are the worst hit. So we try to focus on public ones, and some of them are really, really poor, and the conditions are difficult. So we go with different, and for these people, just seeing us there once a week means that they exist as human beings to the eyes of us, even if they're just 5. In the old days when we could go there was a group of 6 musicians going there, singing with them their old sort of Athenian songs, getting them up, dancing with them, touching their hands, looking them in their eyes, asking for questions like, do you remember your first kiss? Stuff like that. And they just felt alive. Oh. So that was the experience with the elderly. With the disabled, it's different. We do our play, and one of the characteristics of our play is that, apart from the fact that we write them and the music and the playwright, the script, we get the kids to participate. There's always moments in the play where they are part of it. So we bring them in and we do games and whatever's going on in the story, but we bring them in. So that was part of my idea, to get them to participate in something different than their routine. Even if they're in a wheelchair with a drip, we'll find a way to do that. There are always nurses around, and they're not just left there. But so there too, something happens. They feel that they're attended to, and that they exist and that they're loved.
So you give lots of people the experience of being seen when they aren't seen as much in the world.
Yes.
And what has this done for you, Irene?
Oh, well, for me, it's a great satisfaction. I'm very happy. But my biggest satisfaction, I think, apart from giving joy to all these people, we've worked in 110 organizations in the Athens region, and with more than 8,000 children, and I can't remember exactly the numbers, 10,000 old people. And anyway, numbers are growing, but that is one aspect. What I think is important is that we are planting a seed of change in the attitude of everyone in those institutions, whether it's staff or the beneficiaries of our programs, in that the arts can be therapeutic and can reveal issues in someone's life. Mm-hmm. And it's a way of expressing yourself. And it's not always considered that way in Greece, because in Greece you have a lot of groups that come just for fun to play, and they play and they go. We prepare everything, we are regular, we have a relationship with the staff, we ask for feedback from them, what's going on with the children, what's going on. So it's sort of tailor-made. Mm-hmm. And I think this change is, gathering pace with the staff as well. We've created a training program for the staff too, for them to change the environment that they work in when we're away, because they say it's amazing when you're here and then you go, and then we have to wait another week or 2 weeks for you to come back. So we thought, what can we do for them to help them bridge that gap? And so we decided to create a training program, giving them tools to, think, turn on the music, be attentive to each other. There's a lot of stress in Greece, and there's a lot of stress in these hospitals and homes, because they're understaffed, they're underpaid, they're,
Well, it sounds like a wonderful initiative, and it sounds like you're spreading out into new areas all the time, new populations and new ways of doing this. It's been a real pleasure to meet you here today.